Hi, welcome to Chapter 4 of Mr. Lentz's Corner. So, in Chapter 4, we have a breaking down of our barriers between the real world, the world that we live in and experience every single day, and this new world, the wizarding world. And Hagrid introduces us to it. Um, so, first, I want to start off with Hagrid himself and the idea that Hagrid, his official title at Hogwarts is the Keeper of the Keys. And I think this is important because when we are looking at keys, what's the purpose of a key? A key unlocks a door. And that is exactly what Hagrid's role is in this story, is he is unlocking the door to allow Harry to experience the wizarding world, a world that he A belongs to, but B he actually like will thrive in. He also unlocks the fact that there's somebody out there that actually cares deeply about Harry. This guy has not seen Harry for 10 years. Harry has no idea who Hagrid is. But Hagrid cares about Harry so much that he even brings him a birthday cake. It's probably the first birthday cake he has ever had. Well, his parents might have given him his first birthday cake because he was one when they died. So, but the first birthday cake he can remember. Um, Harry is all alone, and Hagrid literally opens the door and unlocks the way into Harry being accepted, welcomed, loved, and an ability that he's going to be able to thrive. Um, and this is something that the Dursleys had deprived him of for years. So before we go too much further, your first letter for your password today is the letter V. Now, the Dursleys are awful. They're awful, horrible people. I feel no guilt or remorse in calling them that because they have neglected and abused Harry for the last 10 years of his life. They've allowed Dudley to bully him. They've bullied him themselves. They've dealt with the school bullying him and picking on him. And nobody is friends with him because they know how his family treats him, or at least how Dudley treats him. And if he's at school, Dudley isn't going to be nice to you if you're nice to Harry. It's abuse and it's neglect. So the fact that Hagrid has now opened this door, he's going to be allowed to experience this, and it's going to affect his development and in both a personal sense, because he's going to have to get used to A, people liking him and not wanting him to be around, but B, it's going to affect him because much like in that last chapter when he became Mr. H. Potter, a very formal thing, he's going to be allowed to not be that weak little kid that was bullied anymore. What I do find really funny is that the Dursleys despise everything about the wizarding world because it's not normal. And it's really interesting to see that Harry, and we're gonna be very interested to see how the wizarding world responds to that of Muggles, because I'm gonna let you in on a secret. Wizards think Muggles or non-magic people are just as weird as the wizards think they are. Second letter, O. Two big other things do happen in this chapter. The first chapter being the breakdown, and once again, another opening of a door in which Mrs. Dursley talks about her sister for like the first time that Harry ever knows. Once again, Hagrid's appearance and Hagrid's knowledge that he brings opens this door, and Harry even says he's never heard her talk about her sister, but Aunt Petunia is talking and raving in such a way that it's like she's been bottling this up for years, and she uses words like freak and abnormal, but yet she's the one that's neglecting kids, which in a normal society we're like, that's wrong. But the Dursleys were aware of everything, and that enrages Harry because Harry felt weird. Harry felt different, and weird things kept happening to him. Jumping up on top of the school building. We found that out in chapter 2, where he didn't know how he ended up there, or his hair magically growing back. The Dursleys had all of the answers as to why this was happening. They just never told Harry. Harry had no idea what was going on, and instead, the Dursleys punished him for that. They knew what was going on, but they punished him. You get 2 letters this time. LD. And leading us up to the final part that I wanted to discuss is what actually happened to Mr. and Mrs. Potter, Harry's parents, Lily and James. The fact that they're brutally murdered. Harry grew up thinking that, oh my gosh, they died in a car accident. We see car accidents every single day. We've kind of become desensitized to the fact that there's a car accident. Like, it's unfortunate. We're sad. If it's somebody we know, we're devastated. We're upset. But if we pass a car accident on the side of the road, we've become desensitized to the facts like, oh, another accident. Murder's a different story. Murder is something that we all want never to happen to us or to people that we care about, we love about. And the fact that Harry is an orphan because of murder, it really kind of shifts our perspective on him. And I love the way that J.K. Rowling did this, because she started off this idea that just like there are good and bad people, there are good and bad wizards. And your next 2 letters are E and M. You should probably be able to figure out what the last 3 are at this point. But the idea of Voldemort, who would just murder, and he was trying to gain power. Fun fact: Mort is the Latin word for death, so technically it's not Mort, it's More. So his name is officially Voldemort, but we Americans, we like to put a hillbilly twist on everything, and we pronunciate that T, Voldemort. But it was Voldemort originally. Nobody knows why Voldemort targeted Lily and James, and that's something that she's not going to only explore. She, as in J.K. Rowling, she's not going to only explore in this book, but the other 6 books as well. There's this idea, like, that we're constantly surrounding this idea of good and bad, and she does a really good job of taking the good and bad ideas and kind of just making them blur together. So characters that we think are bad to start off with are bad for a good reason, or they're good for a bad reason. She really likes to kind of spin the top on that. So anyways, at the end, Harry learns he gets to escape. He's got this giant of a friend named Hagrid, who absolutely cares about him and wants to make sure he's happy and healthy and he's thriving. The rest of your password, I'm going to make it fast. You should be able to find it. Plus, you can always just go back and pause it. That is the password to get you into your Chapter 4 assessment. Now, one quick thing before I let you go. Chapter 5 is a big chapter. It's long. There's a lot of vocabulary. We're going to slow down and we're going to take our time on it. And there might be a couple of these videos only because there's so much to process in this section. It's unreal how important Chapter 5 actually is. Until then, have a great day.